The MediaPlayer object also allows us to stream music from somewhere on the internet. So what I did actually is I put this Watch Me MP3 inside of my buildappswithpaulo.com folder. So anytime you want to use this, you can just like follow this link here. Okay, I'll have this link available for you. But for us to be able to do that, obviously, at this point, we are just calling the raw folder, the raw directory here, and get the Watch Me MP3. So this works fine, but you notice that we have to actually put inside of our folder here, inside of our project. And there are times, like I said, we want to stream or get the sound or the music from somewhere else. How do we do that? Well, to do that, we just have to set the data source. So at the top here where we are saying MediaPlayer and get it from our raw, I'm going to go ahead and comment this out. And I'm going to say MediaPlayer dot set data source like that. And I'm going to pass the string. So the string is going to be the URL. In this case here, I'm going to just copy this, copy, and paste it all in there. But notice that we're going to have a little complaint here. This is because we are dealing with streaming something from a remote place, from somewhere on the internet. So obviously that can cause some issues depending on connectivity, or maybe the file is not available and so forth. So what we can do here is just put inside of a try and catch like that. Okay. But before we go forward, remember this requires us to have internet connection. So we can go to our manifest here and make sure that we pass the permissions or uses permission, say internet like that. Okay, very good. And then go back to main there. We have our MediaPlayer data source. It's pointing to our Watch Me MP3. In fact, if I can take this MediaPlayer and go onto a browser, I'm going to just paste it all in there. Hit enter. Notice that we are able to play it. Okay. Very good. So there it is. So we know that this link actually works. Okay, just want to show you there. So next, what we're going to do is we can also call MediaPlayer. I'm going to say that set on prepared listener, and here I'm going to pass the on prepared MediaPlayer listener, and it will go ahead and give us this unprepared method. This unprepared method here, notice that we have this MediaPlayer object, which is what it's actually playing at this point. So whenever we want to access it, we can do so by using our MediaPlayer inside here. So what do we want to do at this point here? Well, at this point here, all we want to do is to start our MediaPlayer. This means now every time we are setting up our data source for our MediaPlayer, we go make sure that we call this set unprepared listener, which then we pass this unprepared listener interface and implement this method unprepared. So once it's prepared, then we're going to be able to play it. So I'm going to say MP, because this player, again, it is this object that we've been setting up. It's just being passed there. And I'm going to say dot start. Next thing we need to do here is to call the async. So I'm going to say MediaPlayer dot prepare async. So this will allow to asynchronously prepare all the assets that are needed to start playing our sound or our music. So we need to call the prepare async. Very good. So at this point here, let's give it a quick try. Notice now, when we play, we're not going to be playing using our raw Watch Me. It's going to be coming from our set data source here, which we added earlier. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a run. So you notice that even though it's playing fine, but the problem is it goes ahead and starts right away, right? So if you click here, it's paused, but then it says play, and then now it's paused, and everything goes back to normal. But something's not quite right here. So we're gonna restructure our code here to make things a little bit simpler for us. So we understand that the MediaPlayer on prepared listener, it goes ahead as soon as it's prepared, we are starting our MediaPlayer, which is fine, but it's a little bit faulty. So let's see if we can fix this so that it's actually, that way it actually behaves the way we want it to behave. So the first thing I'm going to do, I know that this play button here, we're going to move it and put at the top here. It doesn't really matter, but because the things we're going to be doing now, I think it's better to have it there. And what I'm going to do for our unprepared listener here, I'm going to actually take all of this code and put inside of a variable. So in this case here, this variable is going to be, I'm going to call prepared listener, like that. Let's go ahead and create this method, or variable, I should say. Let's go make it local like this. All right, so we have it here, and I'm going to say is equal to all of that. Okay, so now we can just use this as you see here and call it there. Very good. And our play button here, so I'm going to get this play button, all of this code, I'm going to cut it all and put it all inside here. Okay, there we go. So we have that code, and we're going to restructure things here because we know that unprepared, like I said, is going to go ahead and play as soon as the unprepared is ready. So what I'm going to do actually is this MP3 start. I'm going to take it out of there. I'm going to put inside of else because that's where our play music is. In fact, we need to make this final because we're inside of another class here. That's fine. Very good. So at this point here, I'm going to get the code of MP3. All of this code here, let's just copy all of this. And delete it all. I'm going to just make it MP3 or MP that we're passing here. Start. So in fact, it's all the same code here. I'm just restructuring things. And then I'm going to make sure the play button here is to pause. Okay. And for pause music, I'm going to do the same thing. Copy all of this. We could have left and called these methods, but I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm just going to do like that. Again, MP. There we go. MP. That's very good. So delete all of this. And this is going to be MP. Okay. Looks like is always true. Well, because inside here, apparently, we don't need to check. I'm going to just change all of that. And I'm going to unwrap the if statement like that. Okay. All right. So at this point here, we should be good. Let me go ahead and go through this code again. So what we did here, we just changed a few things around. Our prepared listener, we put that in a variable so that we can call it later. As you can see here, just pass it instead of creating it all inside here. Okay, that's another way to do this. And what we did, because we know that inside of unprepared here, we have our media player, which right away went ahead and started playing. But we don't want that. We want to give the user, us in this case, the power of starting our media player. So I put the play button inside there, decided on click listener. So the moment we come in, it's going to go ahead and check if it's playing, right? We're going to use the MP, which is our media player here being passed around. And if it's playing, if they click, it's going to go ahead and pause, which will make this button text title to say play. Else is going to go ahead and start. Okay. And then we're going to make it the button to say pause. So essentially the same thing we had before. And at this point here, we can go ahead and comment this code out because we don't quite need it at this point. Okay. Let's save this and hope for the best. Give it a quick run there. All right, let's give a second. Nothing is playing. That's good. Let's play. Nice. All right, so it's working just like it was working before, but at least we know that we have the power. Let's pause. It's pausing. Let's play again. Pause. Play again. Nice. Okay. Now it's working. So you have two ways to do this, right? The previous way where we actually didn't need to use the raw watch me, the MP3 in this case. At this point here, we are able to play our music from a different data source, which is a remote link. This one here. Okay, very cool. And remember, we are also making sure that on destroy, so when we're getting rid of our activity, we're going to be getting rid of our media player as such.